So today I've been practicing It Ain't Necessarily So, and I went over one of the circle passages that I had identified in my previous practice the other day where I ran through the whole piece. I found a bit that was partway down the first page that included some harmonics, so it's just about a bar and a bit of notes. And as I said, this is harmonic practice, which is always an annoying feature of my practice, is the best way to describe it. So it's something that I find hard. It's very technical and it requires a lot of concentration, finger strength, stretching fingers, and general precision and bow speed practice. So the main things I focus on when I'm going for harmonics is how far am I stretching my fingers, how fast is my bow going, because this adds to sound quality, and if you don't have the right bow speed, which has to be quite fast in this instance, then you're not going to get a good sound. And the lightness of your finger as well, that's essential. So when you're practicing harmonics, your fingers have to be so light, so agile, because if you press down even a little bit on one of your fingers, then you're going to get a very, very unwanted sound. Harmonics are squeaky enough as they are, but if you press down with your fingers, it's just not going to work, and you are going to get continuously more annoyed with your practice. So in this section, I start off with just one finger harmonic on a C, which, not too bad. We move on to having one finger pressed down on a D in the fourth position. And then we have a light finger over that, which is your fourth finger. And you're focusing your brain on having one finger totally pressed down onto the string and one finger very, hardly touching the string, which takes a lot of multitasking, as any musician has to have in their life, but this takes even more because you're thinking about bow speed, two fingers doing two different things on two different not different notes, but different levels of the note, and it's very, very difficult to get completely right. I've had a practice session, and this is honesty, of just being very, very annoyed when I get it wrong. I managed to contain it slightly, but I do get harmonic practice is one of those ones that, I'm not gonna lie, I try and avoid as much as I possibly can, which I shouldn't, because it is something I find really hard. But it's the thing of when you know that how the practice session is going to go when you have harmonics, because you just don't feel like it's something that you can do as well, so you're going to get annoyed. It's going to feel like you'll never get it right. I always feel like with harmonics it's like hit and miss. So you get it right one time, you could get it wrong the next time. But it's all about concentration, how much effort you put into it, and how much you're actually focused on that one moment. Harmonics are those things that if you have something else on your mind, unless you've practiced it a gazillion times, you're probably not going to get it right. So how I practice harmonics is taking it in tiny sections. I mean 2 notes to begin with, and building it up. So going the first note and the second note, repeating that until you can get it right 3 times in a row maybe. Moving on to 3 notes in a row. Again, same thing. Until you get 3 right in a row, you don't move on. it's like a video game almost. If you don't get it right 3 times in a row or so, you don't move on to the next level. My old teacher always, not old teacher, teacher I haven't seen in a while, but we always talk about flukes. So if I got something right one time, then she'd make me play it again, because just because you've got it right that one time does not mean that you've mastered it, does not mean that you can play it amazingly every time now. Doesn't necessarily mean you can play it amazingly, just you can play it repetitively and you don't get notes and rhythm wrong. So I'm going to brave it now. I'm going to play a bit for you. Well, I'm going to play this section I've been working on. And I don't like to do this, but I would like to warn you that, one, if you're wearing headphones and you've got it turned up very high, don't. Turn it down a bit, maybe. 2, this is, the general sound of harmonics is meant to be a bit squeakier than other violin sounds, however you may perceive violin to sound. Some of you may already think it's very squeaky. This is squeakier. And 3, please don't judge me. I've been practicing it for a while now, but I'm just starting to come back into that focused practice of harmonics. You realise somewhere along the line that with harmonics you can't just, you know, kind of blaze over it. You have to keep repeating it and keep going. So I did about 10 minutes, 15-minute practice on this today. And that doesn't mean I'm going to get it right this time. That just means I did 15 minutes of dedicated practice. Some of it, I will admit, was me whacking my bow at things or not being so nice to my violin, but this is what it is at the moment. So, if you're a violinist, you might know how that went. If you're not a violinist, you might still know how that went. But there are at least 2 notes in there that I am not happy with. And I will carry on practicing over the next few days with this section because I want to get it right. And I don't want to be annoyed with it when I do my final performance and feel like I didn't get it right. So it's just about repetition, taking it at a slower tempo, and even just repeating 2 notes at a time sometimes. Even if you get several notes in, even if there's a bit where you just don't feel like you've got it right, take 2 notes, take 3 notes, take 4 notes, whatever you feel is best. But don't skimp. That's what I'm trying to live by at the moment. Bye.